Okay, let's talk a little bit about web gear. If I need to leave my rucksack at the campsite, maybe to do a little reconnaissance or to collect wood for a campfire or hunt even small game, I carry my web gear, always. On it I have my sidearm, ammunition, water, GPS radio, binoculars, as well as an extensive survival kit. If I ever get separated from my rucksack for an extended period of time, for whatever reason, the web gear is still with me, forming a constantly present layer of protection and security that'll keep my ass alive. With the GPS here, I know exactly where I am at all times, anywhere on the planet, on land or sea. It will always generate my exact grid coordinates, which I can then communicate to a secondary search party if necessary. And by simply keying the mic, whenever I key the mic, my exact grid coordinate is automatically transmitted and flashes on my partner's GPS map. And with the integrated radio, I can keep in constant contact with my partners up to a 5-mile radius as well. If my batteries run low, and they will, I have an alternate battery casing that accepts 4 AA batteries as a backup. Again, redundancies. Always have a backup. I field carry a Springfield XD 9mm. It's light, efficient, extremely reliable with hardly any misfires. Field stripping is a breeze and maintenance a minimum. A great weapon for both accuracy and dependability. I did the stippling job here myself on the grip. I have a Bianchi tactical holster here. Again, great and is very durable. Your weapon won't fall out if you're on the run, jogging, scaling walls or cliffs. You never know. Here's my magazine pouch. I carry 9mm shot shells in one magazine for killing snakes or what have you, and then 9mm power balls in the other for larger animals or humans. Power balls are frangible rounds, which means they break up or explode inside the target. They have a durable tip that makes sure the round penetrates heavy clothing or heavy fur if it's an animal, and then bam, exploding inside the tissues, creating a huge cavity and giving you stopping power that is equal to that of a .45. A must-have. You must be able to protect yourself and your loved ones. This is non-negotiable. Swinging around to the back of the web gear here, we have a very capable survival kit, but I'll get back to this in a moment. Starting on the other side of the utility belt, we have a pouch for both a Leatherman multi-tool and a Gerber knife. No need to explain, as the uses and advantages of these items are self-explanatory. And right next to that we have high-powered binoculars, another must-have. You must be able to locate and identify targets or potential dangers from afar before they get to your position. A must also for reconnaissance or just general long-range observation of your AO. Remember, not everything that is important to you in the field will be within eyesight. Many times it is beyond your visual field, so get high-powered binoculars. And here's your typical military canteen, self-explanatory. Now up here on the shoulder straps we have a headlamp. This particular brand is Pextal, and it has the ability to switch between a white and red lens instantly. And the red lens comes in very handy during a tactical situation. It's also nice to be able to either explore or complete tasks with a headlamp, since it allows for hands-free operation. Here are your goggles, good for patrolling at night, protect those eyes. And here's a small portable field light which you can engage with just a push of a button on the top. Very handy for using as a spotlight in place where it's at now, or you can remove it for more close-up work. And finally, here's my cell phone pouch. If you need to, at this position, you can place it on speakerphone and talk while completing other tasks, if the situation allows, of course. Okay, here we are again at the back of the utility belt. Here's the survival kit, and it is all contained within this Pelican case. And since it is extremely waterproof, it will keep your last-ditch survival items dry in any season. Not only that, but it is extremely durable and will take hard knocks all day. Protect your last-ditch survival gear. Now, if we opened it up, the first item we come to is a survival saw. This particular brand is the most heavy duty, and the teeth are just like a chainsaw. Wrap it around a log, and with back and forth motions, it'll rip right through a 10-inch log in seconds. This will come handy if you ever need to procure large branches for, say, supports for a shelter or what have you. Here we have a U.S. Air Force Survival water filter straw. If you're down to your last straw, no pun intended, this will keep your ass alive until you can at least get to a more secure water source. I cannot express this enough. Without water, you're dead. It's as simple as that. And here's your survival signal mirror. In an escape and evasion situation, it may after a while become necessary to be seen rather than evade. Point the star, which is located at the center here, at your target, say a plane or a search party, and slowly wiggle. Self-explanatory. Here we have what survivalists call a laser flare. I'm still considering adding a pistol flare to my setup, but for now a laser flare will do just fine. Unlike a pistol flare, which is a one-time use item, the laser flare can emit a powerful signal that can be seen up to 30 miles away for 15 hours at a time on one battery. Make a peace sign, position the laser between your two extended fingers, and move the laser slowly from left to right. In addition, unlike the pistol flare, the laser does not pose a fire hazard to either your body or in starting a potential forest fire. Here's a blast match, which is just a fancy fire steel, but one which you can execute with just one hand. It goes hand in hand with a product called wet fire, which is a chemical tinder that will light even when wet. In fact, wet fire lights better and will burn longer when wet. Here's an example. As a redundancy, I have a high temperature survival lighter. It lights at 2,000 degrees Fahrenheit, enough to light even the most stubborn tinder. Here's an example. More vacuum sealed storm matches. You can never have enough of these. Here are some tweeters. Here we have a small emergency light which has 5 different lighting modes. Here's a whistle that also has a compass and thermometer attached to it. A sewing kit with buttons. A spare cell phone battery and it's fully charged. A small survival knife with scissors. And finally an emergency fishing line with spare hooks, certified by the U.S. Air Force Survival Team. Now there are some additional items that you want to pack at the last minute, and I want to go over those right now. I personally own a sleeping bag that is rated at minus 20 degrees. Now that's necessary when considering that a disaster can strike in the middle of winter. Now I won't pack it until I'm leaving out the door because since it's a down feather bag, you must store them in a looser bag or else the feathers will compress permanently and it will lose its low temperature rating. Now when I bug out, I have a special stuff or compression bag that will reduce its size down to almost 10 inches for easier packing. I also have both a 2-man and a 3-man tent. They're very light. They both weigh around 3 pounds each. Now I'm going to wait till 0 hour to pack it because number 1, I have to determine whether the situation dictates a tent to begin with. And number 2, I have to strap it externally to my rucksack. So both the sleeping bag and tent are items that will be packed right at 0 hour. Now I have many cases of MREs, so a good question I always ask is, do I pack a few? I mean, I don't know. There may be already food at my rendezvous point, or my mainstay emergency food bars may be enough. They also take up a good amount of room, those MREs. You got to consider that. Again, these are considerations I'll make at 0 hour. Of course, I already have a poncho liner, 2 extra socks, 2 extra underwears, and an extra pair of shorts in my rucksack now. I just didn't show it to you. I may also, in addition to this, need wet or cold weather gear depending on the weather. Again, a consideration to make at 0 hour.